The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I welcome you back to the Songwriter Show. I'm your host, Sarantos, a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words have always been important to me, and that's why I'm especially thrilled to host this show. I truly believe that every single song is a story. The Songwriter Show is broadcast live on number one ranked W4CY Radio and has listeners in all 206 countries in the world and every state in America. The station is also licensed with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and Sound Exchange, with partnerships throughout the music industry, including iHeartRadio and exposure to over 300 million listeners. Tonight's first guest is Lili Roquelin. She's a New York City-based award-winning pop rock, folky pop singer-songwriter producer who's accumulated numerous noteworthy accomplishments, including honor and awards, music releases and videos, radio airplay, over 80 press and interview features, many special live performances, and several TV and film song placements. She has almost 1 million views on her YouTube channel, and most notably, her songs are on the official entry list for consideration at the Grammys. Welcome to the show, Lili. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, and thanks for saying my name so perfectly.
Well, you know, I'm Greek, so I'm kind of European, so I like to pride myself on being able to say any name, so I try.
Well, it was perfect.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about what got you down this path. Was there something that happened when you were really young that kind of stirred or inspired you and got you going down this road?
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, I started writing poems when I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old, poetry, in a notepad. And my father is a musician. He's a multi-instrumentalist and a lead guitarist, and he performed in many bands for a long time. And so, I always had music around me. And so I learned a little bit from him. And then, very early, I just took my own path, and I had a first band when I was about 14. And I think my first stage was really the revelation for me. We performed at a big party in high school, and we won a big stage, and that was the revelation, the first really, stage performance.
When I was 14, I was fantasizing and trying to do like garage band, garage. That's incredible that you're doing that at so young.
Yeah, it was, it just came naturally. I think then it was really about, okay, I have this passion, I have this calling now, then what am I going to do with it? Am I going to ignore it, or am I just going to go for it? So, and I choose, to just go for it.
Yeah. Is there an instrument that you would say is your main instrument, or is your main instrument your voice?
So I think my main instrument is the voice, but I early on, and especially when I was, with like bands and stuff, I was playing the keyboard a little bit. And so then, I was with bands, mostly co-writing and lead singer for a while. And then about a little over 10 years ago, I went on as a solo career, and I chose the piano as my main instrument. Okay.
Was there something specific that drew you to the piano?
Yeah, I find the piano is very emotional. It's a little bit like, it's a bit of a percussive instrument. So when you touch the keys, it responds. And you can play soft or, harder. And I find that it's a very sensitive instrument.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. What's your process like? Do you start with music, lyrics, melody? How do you birth a song?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think it varies. Sometimes I just write lyrics, since I had started early on with poetry. I still do that once in a while. I have a diary and I write, stuff, and then it's going to turn into lyrics, and then I'm going to turn it into a song. I'm going to add some chords, some melody to it. Or sometimes I have, chords in my head, and I'm, just like improvising on my piano. And I'm going to be like, oh, this reminds me. And then I'm inspired by the tones of those chords. And then I'm like, oh, this is making me think about this. Or sometimes it's both at once. And then also, I dream. In my dreams, once in a while, I hear everything. Like, it's usually the chorus with the chords, the lyrics, and this is actually how I wrote After Dark. Yeah, I actually wrote it in a dream, and I woke up and I went to the piano. It was all there.
Wow, that's wonderful. Do you ever teach music?
I taught singing for a bit, and then no, I didn't went into that direction. No.
Okay. If you could pick any famous musician, dead or alive, that you'd want to be in a room with, who would it be?
Oh my God! I think Paul McCartney.
Okay, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
Abbey Road just went to #1 again in the last week, which is a phenomenal accomplishment.
Incredible.
And I don't know if you've seen, what was that movie called with the Beatles, where the guy stole all their songs. They weren't around yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good movie. And I read something that Paul McCartney snuck into a theater to go watch it, like incognito. And I love the Beatles. I mean, so many songwriting lessons from them that are just...
incredible. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. When you first started, did people take you more seriously as a musician because of your father? Or did you have an extra set of challenges because, you had to be better than everyone else to get noticed?
So my father didn't have any input or influence on my music. One is that he actually stopped being a touring musician when my sister and myself were little kids. So he kind of, went into a different career. And so he had become more of like what we call, a home musician. But when I had my first band, when we were, teenagers with my friends, in the band, he did produce the demo for us. And, maybe I think we were probably taken more seriously there. But then after that, he was just not involved at all. I mean, he would take me to band rehearsals and all that because, I was a minor anyway. So, he was protective, and, the bands, would of course, not try to take advantage of my talents or whatever. So in that way, but then, I moved to the U.S. by myself anyway. And, nobody knows him here. And, and then, I was on my own. So, I'm proud to say that I did it on my own.
Wonderful. Okay. What do you think, when you look at a typical week for you, do you try to write songs every day, once a week? How's that process for you? That's
interesting. I was actually thinking recently that I was going to change that process because, things vary. I tend to wear a lot of different hats, and the past years, I would go into different modes. I would go into, writing mode when I'm when I decide I'm going to write a record, and then I kind of disappear completely. Mm-hmm. I barely go out or whatever to hear live music and stuff. I don't play much during that time. And then, there's recording and producing mode because, I produced all of my solo music. And then, I get into the live performance promotion mode, and I do a lot of my own PR. So, and I love it. I love doing that. And so as far as songwriting, and, I always take notes, but I think I'm going to try to blend it in more a little bit and see how that goes. Because it's true that, I get caught up a lot in the music business, which I like too. Sometimes it's not fun, but I do enjoy working on, on selling and getting opportunities for my music. Sometimes it is tiring, but this is something I like to do, is blend more in the songwriting with the music business and have the schedule a little more like that.
So we have one of the fans listening. Bryce has a question for you. Do you find it hard to make it at first in music?
To make it at first, like if it was hard to actually get success, I've never seen it as I have to make it, and then I mean, I must say that at some point when I had a big TV placement, I felt relieved. To get all the way to that moment, which was, like a few years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, something like that, a little more. To get all the way there, I can't really, it was hard, but it's hard now too, because then once you have the success, you have to feed the success that you receive. So you're always busy, you're even busier. Sure. So it's hard before that you get that big opportunity that will, make the difference and make you, like on the other side, and we call it, and, but then, you have to keep up with that. So, and then you also, of course, you want more, or you want better, or you want different. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Yeah. What's the worst career advice anyone's ever given you?
It was somebody, this is a funny question. I'm a woman, and when I was in my, I don't know, maybe 20, somebody told me, it's great that you started to do music young and this and that, because, then when you're gonna be over 30, that's it, you're gonna have to stop. You're gonna have to take care of the kids and this and that. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? And so this was the worst advice, because one, it never applied to me. It doesn't apply to anybody. And it was very, sexist anyway. So yeah. I think that would be my answer.
Okay. What's the strangest compliment you've ever gotten about a song you've done?
That's funny. The strangest compliment. I think they're all good compliments. As long as it's, if it's a compliment, it's always work on it. People will interpret, songs differently. They're gonna feel them differently. And I always love hearing how it makes them feel. I guess something that I have a hard time, understanding how that's possible. And I think that happens to a lot of songwriters. It's when, I've had fans that tell me, oh my God, your song saved my life. It changed my life. It saved my life. Like for me, as much as it's exactly why I'm doing music, then when somebody tells you that, whether it's via, social media or in person, I'm like, is that really possible? It's sure. Incredible, the power of music,
Yeah, absolutely. What do you have a hidden superpower you want to confess to us?
It's funny. Oh, I like a skill that is not music.
Anything, a superpower, like if you can fly, or you can turn invisible, or anything more normal.
Oh, anything more normal. I am actually quite a nerd. I'm a nerd. I do like science. To a certain point, just it can, kind of break out the part of the brain too that's very artistic. So I try to not go too crazy on science, but and I actually do have a science degree, and I like neuroscience and things like that, psychology, and so I pretty much never talk about this on social media or anywhere to anybody. When I'm in the music, Yeah. But I have that side that, but I think the science part has helped me a lot with the business and staying organized and all that sort of things. So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I confess on social media, I'm a nerd. I was a nerd in high school. I'm still a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm a computer geek. I don't hide it. I would not mind if all my fans were nerds, so it's, I stand tall and proud, I guess.
Well, that contributed to all the things you've done and succeeded in too, I'm sure.
Yeah. So before I forget, for any listeners that are listening, where can they find information about your music, website? Where can they buy your music?
Yes. So if they go to my website, liliroquelin.com, LILIROQUELIN.com, they can listen to previews of my album, my new album, latest album, Be Inspired. And there are links that will take them to iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, And also on my website, I have available limited edition autographed CDs and I call it digital music postcards that are autographed too. This is on my website. And and then other than that, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I have a big and busy YouTube channel with my award-winning music videos, and it's all at Lili Roquelin.
Awesome. Tell us about the song we're going to hear in about 3 minutes. What do you want us to know about it?
Yeah, so After Dark is the song on the record that I wrote in a dream. So the song is about, I guess, going past difficult times and finding the light. It's, seeing the light, beyond the clouds and at the end of the tunnel. I think this is what the song is about, and it's very inspiring, and so I hope that everybody will like it.
Is there a mood or a feeling that you get every time you listen to this song?
Yeah, it's very chill, but there's a lot of dynamics and there's a progression in emotion of the song. A lot of that is found on that album, Be Inspired. And so it starts, quiet with a little piano, but, you have to listen to the end to hear the strings and everything, and it gets pretty powerful and strong.
Okay. We got like 2 minutes here left, so I'm going to ask you a couple of weird questions here. What's the last gift you gave anyone?
The last gift I gave to anyone? Yeah. Oh my God, I don't know. Can it be my pet?
Sure, if you gave it.
Yeah, I have an adorable guinea pig, and I got him some little biscuits, and I gave him a biscuit today. So that was my last gift today.
All right. What else can I ask you? How would you rate your memory? Good, bad, indifferent, awesome, terrible?
I think it's pretty awesome.
Okay. And what's your favorite place to go eat there locally?
Oh, I like Ammonia. It's a Greek.
Ammonia.
Ammonia, yeah. Ammonia.
Someone's going to crop out the interview and they're going to get you and you're famous saying you like ammonia.
It's a Greek cafe. I live in Astoria, the very Greek neighborhood, New York City.
Yeah.
Ammonia is awesome. I eat gluten-free, but there's always something for me to eat there.
Yeah, I haven't been to Astoria in a few years, but I visited it, and it's a great place, yeah.
Yes, it's awesome.
So is Ammonia a typical Greek place?
Yes, it's got a lot of desserts, and it's got a lot of great food.
All right, now you're making me hungry. I have to go find some Greek food. All right. Well, we're going to hear your song right now, and it's been a pleasure so far.
Oh, yes. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, we're going to hear your song. Here we go.
And it's after dark, when the sun comes down, I see the city's lights shine up the clouds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's after dark, when the sun goes down, you see the stars come out, light up the sky. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. On the summer evening, I ran down the field to hear you sing. Your voice was floating between the trees. You reached to me with a light breeze. You showed me how to look at the world and find the brightness when I die. And it's after dark, when the sun comes down, I see the city's lights shine up the clouds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's after dark, when the sun goes down, you see the stars come out, light up the sky. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When I look at your face, I think of all the years in your embrace. Your voice so familiar, and it feels like home. How you tell me I can be free. You show me how to find my own world and keep the brightness when they die. It's after dark, when the sun comes down, I see the city's lights shine up the clouds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's after dark, when the sun goes down, you see the stars come out, light up the sky. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You show me I can trust myself and stay out of sadness. I am strong and I keep believing, I'm still receiving. You show me how to look at the world and see the brightness with no doubt. And it's after dark, when the sun comes down, I see the city's lights shine up the clouds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's after dark, when the sun goes down, you see the stars come out, light up the sky. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's after dark, when the sun comes down, I see the city's lights shine up the clouds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's after dark, when the sun goes down, you see the stars come out, light up the sky. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wow. Lili, that was impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. It's always cool to hear people with accents, and then they sing and like the accent's pretty much gone.
Oh,
So it's,
thank you.
and I know that, but somehow I'm listening to this and I'm like, wait, where's her accent? And, it's almost like actors and actresses, it's the same kind of thing. But
It is.
wow, you have a very, very beautiful, sweetly melodic voice. That was very impressive.
Thank you very much.
So our second songwriter didn't call in, so I get to spend 15, 20 minutes with you. So I'm excited.
That's awesome.
What, I asked you earlier about the mood or the vibe of the song, but do you have a certain style that you try to mimic? Who do you want to sound like, or who do you try? And I know nobody ever tries to sing exactly like someone, but
some people do.
Yeah, who's your hero? Who do you try to sound kind of like?
Oh my Lord, there's multiple. Like I just say, some people try. I mean, there are a lot of copycats out there. I have come across even some indie artists that would just try to sound like other indie artists, and just be yourself. Just let your natural influences from all the music you listened to when you were growing up, or everything that surrounds you. Just let it pour through, and then and then plus your own stuff. So I do, we talked about the Beatles. So obviously, and my dad was a big fan of the Beatles, so I listened to a lot of them. I also listen, as far as piano, I listen to a lot of contemporary instrumental piano. I'm a big fan of Ludovico Einaudi. He is an Italian pianist. Contemporary. He's like a mix between David Glass and Radiohead. His music is really amazing, and he's got this kind of ballad vibe, and this very moving and emotional the way he plays. And I think I feel that, and I think that does come out in my ballads and my kind of chill out piano songs. I have quite a bit of these across all my catalog. And then as far as songwriting, having the fact that I grew up in Europe, there's not only the Beatles, but there's a lot of British bands. There's a songwriter, Noel Gallagher. I actually really, really like his songwriting. He was with Oasis first, and then his own work is even better.
Yeah.
And he's he writes amazing lyrics, melodies, chords, everything. And then there's Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow, I really, she is my songwriting hero. I worship her. I think she's fantastic, and her personality and everything. She's very down to earth. So, I think that, and then there's a little bit of, I play the ukulele now, past 2 years a little bit. So I have a few ukulele songs on a Be Inspired album. And so artists like Ingrid Michaelson or Colby Kayat, I like the youth vibe, and I think that might have influenced me a little bit too on that record. But and then, I listen and I love rock, rock and roll. And I before I was a solo artist, the bands I was in were rock bands. So the first band I had in the US when I moved here was pop rock, and then the band after that was all alternative hard rock, Evanescence and all pretty heavy stuff. Yeah. So all these chords and tones and dissonances and, tune in D, that type of stuff. This had an effect on my music a lot. I hear all these, I've had, these tones in my music. So, yeah.
Okay. What has surprised you the most in the music landscape in the last year?
Oh, you mean in the music industry?
Yeah, or anything in the landscape, in the industry, in the mainstream media, just anything related to music.
Oh, there is a difference. Since I'm very involved in my music business and stuff, I try to separate the art from the industry and what's going on right now. There are a lot of things that are very disappointing, that how they're treating the songwriters, that the streaming corporations, how they, I find that music is being, and songwriters have been exploited. I'm a member of the advocacy group at the Recording Academy, and Advocacy Day was actually last Tuesday, and so I contributed to some social media stuff, letter to a district, rep and all that. So, I'm very passionate about that, about, getting our rights, getting our royalties, getting better rates and everything on our royalties, because I am concerned about the future of the quality of music, because if the record labels spend only, the major record labels, right? If they spend only $2 per song, I mean, it's not going to be crap, right? So it's not going to be great music. So this has been disappointing and hard for me to deal with, because, I'm an audiophile. I like quality, I like, to listen to music on vinyl records, on, really high resolution stuff. So, and I think the fact that it went really, really pop and very, very much EDM. There's some really cool stuff that came out, and it's always come down to the song. Even if there's like one drum beat and like, one chord, it's always, and then the song, if there's a song that's huge, even if it's that EDM trend that's right now, it's always because it's a good song, So then, of course, you have huge artists like Adele or Taylor Swift, when they release a record, it's good quality. So I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
So I think that I think the interesting thing that came out in the mainstream is that there's a research of alternative with a little Billie Eilish. I think this is good, actually, because we needed a little bit of a fresh air,
Yeah. I saw her on SNL, and I was looking at her performance, and I was like, wait, how is she like upside, and I was like trying to figure out if it was the camera turning or if it was, but yeah, she's definitely unique. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually read an article about her. I did not know that her parents were famous actors.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah. And they were like that, her and her brother. So her brother, I guess, was on Glee, and they were like homeschooled and stuff. And I guess they were like more, her parents were, it's more like second role and stuff, but still, working actors, and that's awesome.
Yeah. And you know what? It is interesting when you look at, people sometimes that clearly some people come from nowhere, but sometimes I'm always surprised how, you look at Tiger Woods, or you look at, there really is something to having someone behind you that just even through osmosis, you think, oh, they're not interested in it, but they are. I can't quite, I've read some interesting books. One was A Talent Code. And it's just fascinating, the story behind some people. And I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as they get the right support, it's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the last movie you watched that made you laugh out loud?
Oh, so the past week I didn't watch many movies. Oh, I just watched one of my favorite movies from like a long ago. It's Austin Powers. I don't remember which one I watched, but I laughed. Yeah. Oh my God, I laughed. So yeah, I just rewatched it again, and so yeah.
I love Austin Powers. I'm actually still hoping that they're going to make another trilogy at some point, but yeah, absolutely. If you could fly anywhere for free, where would you go tomorrow?
Oh, I think Australia.
That's on my bucket list. Yeah, Australia, and you got to go to New Zealand if you're in Australia, because it's right there.
Yeah. I saw some documentaries and some pictures of New Zealand. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was Lord of the Rings the one that was made in New Zealand, Australia, or something like that.
Oh my God, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, some of that scenery is breathtaking. But yeah, ever since I saw that, and of course I still haven't gone. But yeah, it's on my bucket list. Mm-hmm. Or actually, we should probably do a concert there. That'd be even better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
If you could teach any college class, what would you teach?
I think I would enjoy teaching. I think I would enjoy teaching songwriting. as far as music related. And otherwise, I think I wouldn't mind teaching French.
Oh,
Because,
okay. I assume you speak French, right?
Yeah, well, I was born and grew up in France. So, but I find it would be interesting to teach it to college kids and more of an advanced level. It'd be challenging for me to remember all the grammar.
Yeah, okay. That's it. I did not know you were born in France, but that's part of your accent, I think. And I'm not an accent expert because people tell me I have a Midwest accent. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, you don't.
No, you don't have any accent.
Yeah. I guess it's all in the ear, right? Yeah. If you were in charge of picking the eighth wonder of the world, what would you choose?
The eighth wonder of the world. So is it like, I never understand this thing. Is it like so I have to discover an eighth wonder of the world that does not exist yet? Is that right?
Yeah, or pick a place that you think should be, if you got to pick it.
I think it would be somewhere on the West Coast. There are some hidden gems out there. I went to LA and San Diego for the first time in June, and I performed there on a Pig and Whistle, Hollywood Boulevard. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, the Pacific Ocean and like around San Diego, there are some spots where you see the sunset. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like this, and there's so much variety in Southern California. I think I would pick a place somewhere down there.
Yeah, I of all the places I've visited, I've been a lot of places, but San Diego is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, the weather's perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold, and it's very, very consistent.
Yes.
Yeah. What else can I ask you? When was the last time you went at a party and had fun?
A party, I actually... I think I went to a potluck. I don't know if that counts as a party. Recently, I'm a part of a meditation group, and we do fun potlucks. And and that was just great. And we get to bring food and chat, and it's just a lot of fun. I like being surrounded by enlightened people more than going out to the bars anymore.
Okay. Who's the messiest musician that you've ever worked with that you'll admit to in public?
Oh my God, I have to say the name. Like messy, you mean like disorganized?
Your pick. Messy, disorganized, messy slob, messy. You pick whatever way you want to define it.
Well, there you go. I don't care if he's listening. I think he won't mind. It's actually Sean Beloveti. So we did an awesome song together. He's a great producer. We did my song I Saw You. It was a single, and it's one of my music videos. It's the one that's in black and white in Central Park. And then we had on a few other songs. And I guess a few years later, I asked him, hey, can you send me the Pro Tools sessions of these other songs? Because, I'd like, we didn't release them or, for like distribution, and I'd like to get them remixed and just polish them, even if you're not into it. And he said he lost the files. He doesn't have them anymore.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So there you go. That's what he did.
Right. No problem. All right. We got 2 minutes left here. What would you like to tell the world? You pick your own question and answer it. Yeah.
So, is it promotional wise?
Whatever you want.
So, I have actually some really exciting stuff. Like my album Being Inspired is on the official entry list ballot for the upcoming Grammy Awards. So it's for your consideration for Grammy voters. And I have a bunch of entries, and which is awesome. It's up for Album of the Year, and then I have After Dark that we heard is up for Song of the Year, and then there's a bunch of other entries. And then I did this really surreal collaboration I participated to a song alongside of Julian Lennon, who's the son of John Lennon. I know I even have a hard time saying it because it sounds like surreal. And it was a beautiful spoken word track. It's called Voices of the People, and it's on the soundtrack of an inspiring movie, One Little Finger. So the soundtrack's called One Little Finger, and it's about finding and seeing ability in disability, in people that are disabled. And it's about, opening your heart and having that compassion and welcoming them in spite of their differences. And so, and it is up as well for Best World Music Album on the first round ballot. So we'll see. I hope we get a nomination, because the record also features Quincy Jones. And so this is just really awesome stuff. So yeah, that was just my shout out.
That's awesome. And yeah, Quincy Jones, I mean, what a legend. I mean,
oh my God.
that you can't even say anything that hasn't been said, but his biography was awesome. I saw it on Netflix, and definitely worth, if you're an aspiring singer-songwriter, definitely check that out.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
So a couple comments from fans here. That sounds like a party to me. Jill says that sounds nice. I think everyone has really enjoyed this interview, and I'm very thankful that you were on the show tonight, Lili. I had a great time. I'm glad you got both segments, and love to have you on again sometime in the future, but I wish you nothing but the best.
Sure, and thank you so much for having me and for reaching out. I'm very grateful that I got to be on the show, and we'll have to stay in touch. And I'm saying hello to everybody, and I look forward to sharing the streaming link to everybody that missed it tonight.
Absolutely. And do me a favor before we let you go. Give us your website one more time.
Yes, Lili Roquelin, LiliRoquelin.com, or any social media at Lili Roquelin, LiliRoquelin.
That's awesome. All right, Lili, you have a wonderful night, and wish you the best.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. So in concluding the show here, to any listeners out there who may be artists, if you want to be on the Songwriter Show, please feel free to reach out to me. I thank everyone for listening tonight, and I thank you for spending another Tuesday night with me. I hope your own unique story gets heard around the world. My name is Sarantos. Please join me next time to hear other amazing artists share their fascinating behind-the-scenes stories right here at the Songwriter Show. And I'm going to close the show tonight by telling you about a new song that I just released last week, and the new video came out as usual today. So the song is called Drugs. Drugs are bad. I think almost anyone would admit this, and it's not a secret. They're a huge challenge, and they're a problem we face in our society today. Now, some drugs are legal and some aren't. I personally believe everyone should have a right to do whatever they want to their body, and I'll take this a step further and say that I believe every single drug should be legalized. That way its distribution can be controlled, and you can go to any pharmacy or ATM and get the drug of your choice with clean needles or whatever you want. But even though that way you won't have to worry about impurities being mixed into drugs, going to bad neighborhoods to find products, or all the other problems you find with distribution, and even though the government will get to tax them, that's only half the battle. The other half of the battle, which is very serious, is addiction disorder. So how do you handle people who have addiction problems? It's easy to say just don't do drugs, but addiction disorders are very real, and people can be addicted to drugs, sex, power, and I personally don't have an answer for you, but I think as a society we should continue to try to find a solution. So this is my alternative rock hip-hop song about the many famous musicians who died young due to a drug overdose. The bottom line is I think they were enabled and were given whatever they wanted to sustain their addiction. But, the music basically makes you feel kind of like you're underwater, like you're drowning on purpose. And I think the harmonies are persevering and the vocals sound echoey in a strange way. But basically that was the intent. And if you get a chance to check out the video that came out today, basically there's some very graphic imagery, and it opens up the hidden world of the drug addict. It's not a happy place, but again, addiction is a hard thing to control, and I think we should try to help people that are addicted. So I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the song, and I'll see you again next Tuesday night. I love you all and thank you all for listening.
They thought they wanted fame, but they went insane. As soon as it arrived, the devil took aim. Different hotel room, where boredom looms. Crave the rush of the stage, drugs always seduce. Like sprinkled Skittles, spread out over the table. Like fragile puppets, they gag into buckets. Candy so bad, life could surely sad. It's a fatal trap. Drugs always get the You just can't stop someone, always on the run. They can afford all sins, danger doesn't stop fun. Muscle outside the door, but losing the war. Cause they're inside dying, passed on the floor. Like sprinkled Skittles, spread out over the table. Like fragile puppets, they gag into buckets. Candy so bad, life could surely sad. It's a fatal trap. Drugs always get the kept them going was to give them what they wanted. Drugs might be a mistake, but for them a mistake worth making. Candy just so bad, life got sure so sad. It's a fatal trap. Drugs always get the last laugh. As Jim once admitted, the future's uncertain, but the end's always near.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.